Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my cerebralites. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and I'm back with another episode of You Say What. Now, for those of you who might be new to my channel, You Say What is your opportunity to chime in, to leave your 2 cents, and to be a part of the discussions that are happening here on my channel within my community of cerebralites. Having said that, let's unpack today's subject at hand. Now, we're going to talk about something that has my blood boiling today, has me on fire. We're going to talk about Kanye West. Now, Kanye West has been all over the media lately, right? We've seen him wearing Make America Great, and he's been sort of adopted by these right wing, alt right figures, Bill O'Reilly and Candace. I can't think of the girl's name, but all of these, he's sort of become this white ring darling, right? And he is really relishing in this attention, which is typical of Kanye. Kanye loves attention. If we know nothing else about Kanye, we know this thing for sure. He loves the spotlight, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get and maintain that spotlight. Now, having said that, let me be a little transparent here. I'm a huge Kanye West fan. I have been for a long time. Got introduced to him a decade or more ago by an ex-boyfriend of mine who was really into sort of underground hip hop and mixtapes, and he sort of turned me on to Kanye West. And Kanye West is from Chicago, which is my hometown town, so that made me have a particular affinity for him. And I've ridden with Kanye on some of the more incendiary, inflammatory things that he said in the past, and given him a pass for a lot of those things, just because that's just his personality. He's a provocateur. He likes to push buttons. He likes to start conversations, and I appreciate that. And I also appreciate a critical thinker and a person who challenges conventional beliefs, and that's what I think that Kanye tries to do in a lot of instances. However, today he took it too far. This isn't even a challenge. This is a complete disrespect, a denigration of the history and the struggles of black people here in America. And it's so bizarre that we have a man who went from George Bush doesn't care about black people to a man who is essentially blaming black people for their own condition. Now, having said that, do I think that black people could do more to pull themselves out of their place, out of their condition? Absolutely. I agree 100%. But we shouldn't be in this position, because this is not a position of our own choosing, which is essentially what Kanye West is saying today, is that 400 years of slavery was a choice. 400 years of slavery was a choice, which is the most bizarre thing to me. And let me say this, right? Nothing against Kim Kardashian, nothing against black women. I'm sorry, white women, white men. I don't really care. Love is love as far as I'm concerned. Like who you like. I don't really have an issue with that, right? But very often, because of the way that I speak, people will often make this assumption that I only date white men, right? Now, I have never dated a white man. Never. I've gone on dates to a white man, but it's never worked out. And part of the reason why it's never worked out for me is because I always, being the critical thinker that I am, let's go back to that point. Being the critical thinker that I am, when things happen in the media, like let's say a Trayvon Martin or countless other stories, even I'm trying to think of something that happened recently. Just the police brutality that we see happening throughout the country, Black Lives Matter, and this whole movement that has been gaining momentum in the last several years. If I were with a white man, right, and I'm talking about issues that affect me personally as a person, as a woman of color, and trying to express and trying to enlighten him on why and how I feel the way that I feel, I don't think a white man, no matter how much I try to explain it to him, empathy only runs so deep. It can only go, you can only feel it up until a point. And the only way that you can really understand what it's like to be black in America is to be black in America. And so for Kanye West to be so disconnected from that is just so bizarre to me. And I don't want to veer too far off the point. My point about interracial relationships is this. This is why black men need black women. This is why black women need black men. And nothing against, like, once again, those people out there who are in interracial relationships. I believe love is love. Love who you want to love. But for me personally, I think that it's important, because I think that this ridiculous rhetoric that Kanye is espousing, if his woman was a strong black woman, a Nubian queen, a sister, Sista, she would have shut this down. But Kanye is surrounded around a bunch of feeble, weak, meek, passive, um, yes, people who are essentially singing his praises and telling him how great he is and not really challenging him on some things that he's absolutely 100% incorrect about. There's absolutely no reason for this man and I think Kanye is, I wouldn't use the word genius because I think people use that word genius too much. He's not a genius. I think he's a smart guy, but a genius absolutely not. Um, because a genius wouldn't say something so stupid. Um, but I think he's a really smart guy, smarter than average for sure. But sometimes I think that maybe he's too smart for his own good, and it's just like, so it almost seems sometimes people who are celebrities or certain celebrities get so much money and become exposed to so much information and they're around so much intellect that they really lose touch with the real world and the reality of the world that we live in. Anyone who's connected to the world that we live in would know not to make a statement that is so reckless as to basically and to really give fodder to these white ring hate groups who are essentially looking for any reason to blame black people for their own conditions, right? The same people who complain about 8 years of Obama don't seem to think that black people have any basis in their complaints about 400 years of oppressive treatment. And so, it's amazing how, a lot of these people are, it's Obama's fault that we're in the state that we're in. They blame Obama for these past 8 years. But for whatever reason, if you're a person of color or minority, we're supposed to completely negate the 400 years of oppression that we've experienced here in America and act as if it doesn't exist. Now, having said that, I think that when it comes to slavery, if you've done your research about slavery, and I impress upon you to do your own research. Don't just look at what's in front of you. I guess if there's anything positive that can come from this conversation is that we need to dig deeper, a little bit deeper, and challenge some of the information that we've been told and that we've been taught. This is primarily the reason why I'm agnostic. I'm not a religious person. I do believe in a higher power, but I don't subscribe to the Bible and the teachings of the Bible, um, because I won't be force fed my beliefs. No one gets to dictate to me what I'm supposed to believe, and then I don't want someone essentially telling me that if I believe different, that I'm going to be relegated to hell and to burn forever because I believe differently from what you believe. So I'm not a religious person because I believe in free and critical thinking. I think it's important for people to think outside the box, to challenge the things that they've been told. And I think that that may have been the underlying point that Kanye was trying to make. Now, I'm not here to defend Kanye because it's indefensible. Um, but I think that that may have been the point that he was trying to make. If you read and you know a little bit about the history of slavery, you know that blacks enslaved blacks, but that's not something that is specific to people of of African ancestry. People throughout the world have enslaved their own people. So let's not vilify black people for doing something that human beings have done. And and even with that being said, it doesn't change the fact of how how African Americans have been treated here in America and continue to be treated here in America. And I don't like anyone who tries to absolve. Um, we're still waiting on our 40 acres and a mule, right? Everyone's my family hasn't gotten theirs. I'm sure if you're African American, your family probably hasn't gotten theirs either. So if you're going to have a conversation about the history of America, let's talk about it comprehensively. Let's not blame the victim, and that's essentially what I feel like Kanye West was doing today. And I don't know, but for me, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I can no longer support Kanye. Um, I don't see myself buying anything Kanye related. Now, I can't make you any promises. If one of my old songs comes on, that I might not snap my fingers and and get my two-step onto it. But I just don't see myself supporting this man. And I will say this: there's a part of me that feels like Kanye is truly in that sunken place. To quote the movie. Why can't I think of that movie? But you guys know the sunken place. Um, I feel like Kanye is in a sunken place. He's in a place that's darker. Like I'm almost fearful that I'm gonna wake up at some point and read that Kanye West is dead. That Kanye West has committed suicide. Something is going on in this man's mind that's causing these manic statements. These aren't just things that we can just listen to. Like, maybe, you know, if I were to, and I'm not a psychologist, you know, I don't really have experience, obviously, in that realm. But to me, he seems to have manic or bipolar tendencies. You know, he's having these manic episodes, and he's not really in control of his faculties to the degree that we think that he is. And I think that at some point, and today may be that point where he checks himself into rehab and he exposes himself. Like, we just found out that Mariah Carey was bipolar here a few months ago. And maybe Kanye is experiencing some sort of mental illness that's causing him to act out in this way. And if that's the case, my heart goes out to him. I hope he gets the help that he needs. But in this interim, we need to take a microphone away from him, stop sitting him in front of microphones, and allow him to make these reckless statements. With that being said, you guys, this is You Say What. This is your opportunity to chime in because I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear what you feel. For me personally, Kanye West is dead. I can't ride with you on this statement. Um, but like I said, I want to hear what you have to say. So make sure you comment below. Please comment below. I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. With that being said, as always in closing, you guys, I want you to live better, love harder, and definitely think smarter than Kanye. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.